Hi guys, welcome back. This is Chris, aka Big Will, with this retro Manchester City save. And here in episode 12, we're going to have a transfer roundup and we're going to have a game at home against near the bottom Bristol City and also Huddersfield, who are also near the bottom of the league table. And the key thing about these two games is we have made some extra signings in this January transfer window. So we are having a change of system just to better accompany some of the players that we've managed to bring in. So as we look at the transfers that we've been able to make, as you can see, there was a lot of failed transfers in terms of players outgoing. We didn't want to offload anybody. Excuse me, I do apologise. So in terms of incomings, Roberto Mancini we confirmed back in October. He has now been registered with the squad, so he can now play in league matches. He was a free transfer. We brought in 20-year-old Chilean David Pizarro. In real life, he played for City for 6 months on loan from AS Roma. He is currently unable to play for us as he has no work permit, but since we have signed him, he has played some under 20 caps, so I'm hoping if we put an application in, he may qualify to be acting as a prospect to come through. We look to strengthen in a range of positions, and as you can see, we've managed to do so. Michael Carrick has signed from West Ham. He's only 18. We signed him for £6 million. They did want a lot of money for him, but he's going to be such a strong prospect for the future. I felt that it was a no-brainer to be able to bring him in, and in years to come, hopefully he will be a key player. We then decided to look for another right back. We have had issues on and off with Danny Mills and Rory Delap, so we paid £3 million for Irish right back Stephen Carr from Tottenham. Again, he's got very good physicals and defensively he's quite well adapted, and he's a very determined character as well, so I'm really happy to have brought him in as an extra there. And in terms of going forward, we've really struggled for goals this season, but we came across Carl Court. Now, when he played in the Premier League, he had a variety of different clubs, and he was actually coming out of contract at the end of the season. I didn't want to risk signing him on a pre-contract agreement purely because he may have ended up going somewhere else, but we might not have been able to sign him then until the end of the season. So instead, we put a bid in, and we managed to pick him up for only £2.5 million. And as you can see, with a 16 finish and strong composure, he's got very good physicals as well. He's reasonably quick, considering he's about 6'4", and I think we've done really well to be able to bring him in. And in terms of wingers, as I was saying again in previous videos, we have been struggling out wide for options. We've decided to permanently bring in Wayne Bridge. He was on loan at the club in Division 2 last season. So I was really happy to bring him in on a permanent deal. And again, £6 million it cost us. He's got a lot of work to do to become the player we want him to be, but I think he will do just fine. We then looked into a couple of defenders because defensively we have been leaking, and we managed to bring in Daniel Van Boyten for £1.6 million, and I think he's probably going to be the signing of the window. He is a very, very strong centre-back that I was very surprised to be able to bring him in when we did. Again, he was a player in real life. City had him on loan for a season in around 2005, I think it was, so he qualified. Even though he's Belgian, he did qualify to be able to be bought. We also found another centre-back in Mark Smith. He can also play at right-back as well. We're quite well covered now at right-back. But as you can see, with heading of 15, marking of 15 and tackling of 17, he's certainly going to be more of a central defender. He is 6 foot, but he's quite strong and he's got a lot of fitness and stamina, so he will do well to last the full length of games. And then lastly, this was a deadline day signing. We managed to bring in former Manchester City French striker Antoine Sibierski. And as you can see, he is very good going forward. We're going to potentially play him in that attacking midfield role. I will show you the formation change shortly. But as you can see, his jumping reach is very good as well. He's 6'3" nearly. So again, we've got good aerial presence going forward with him. And in terms of outgoings, we didn't really do a lot of business in that manner. We've decided to loan out Peter Crouch. He's gone to Rochdale on a loan deal. Our under-18 striker Darren Garfield went to Coventry for 150,000. Central defender Tony Vaughan went to Hibernian for 400,000. He wasn't getting a lot of game time. And one of our key defenders, Andy Morrison, we decided to sell to Coventry for 100,000. He said that he wanted to leave, which is fair enough. And despite him playing regularly, with the fact that we managed to bring in Van Boyten and Mark Smith, he wasn't really needed much longer after that. So in terms of our tactics, like I say, we are now going to try and operate with an attacking midfielder. It's not something we've done yet in this save, so hopefully it will work out okay. As we look at our team selection, here we can see the formation change. So instead of having that holding midfield player, we're going to ask Pollock to drop back for that ball-winning midfield role, instead of having a box-to-box player, purely because we've got that advanced player in the centre there. So for this game, we've got Weaver in goal, we've got Paul Robinson, Van Boyten, Craddock and Delap at the back. We've got Pollock and Murphy in central midfield. Sibierski is going to get a debut in behind Sean Gota, with Sean Wright-Phillips and Neil Heaney either side of him. And again, we've had quite a number of games as well, so fitness is a little bit of a concern. In fact, I think what I'll do, because Gota has been struggling when he's been playing, I'm going to bring Cal Court into there as an extra, and I think I'm going to start Wayne Bridge ahead of Neil Heaney as well, to be quite honest. And I think that might serve as a little bit of a better balance up there. So here we go for this. It's the first time, like I said, that we've played this formation. We have been training in it for a week or so, so hopefully the players will be reasonably adjusted to it. It's not too much different, only the fact that we haven't got a holding midfield player in there now. So defensively we might be a little bit more at risk, but with Jody Craddock and Daniel Van Boyten, I think we've got solid options in there. And with those improvements, I'm hoping that we can do well against these two teams. Because Bristol City, of course, like I said, they're in the relegation zone at the moment, and Huddersfield are only just outside of it. They have got plenty to play for themselves, because obviously they'll be trying to escape that area of the table. But hopefully we will be able to continue our decent run of form. If I show you the league table on the right hand side of the screen, as you can see, we've done a lot better since making these signings. We've managed to win quite a few games in succession. And we do have a highlight here. Sean Wright-Phillips has played it in, looking for Wayne Bridge at the far post. It's cleared away, only as far as Paul Robinson. He manages to get it back into the penalty area, but it's cleared by Vickers. And now Adi Akinbaye. He looks to break forward here, and he finds Janssen on this left-hand side. He tries to cut in, and it's come for Akinbaye again. It's Adi Akinbaye. It's 1-0 to Bristol City. Adi Akinbaye has scored, and that lack of holding midfielder in there might have caused a little bit of a problem, unfortunately. But we'll have to wait and see how we get on. We do have a set piece here. It's going to be Danny Murphy to take. Hopefully he can swing this around the wall, which he does, and it's only just over the bar. Really good effort from Danny Murphy, who again is still our top scorer. But yeah, as you can see from the league table, we have been in much better form in recent games, and we were playing with that holding midfield role as well in those recent games. But with the changes that we've made in the squad, I'm hoping that we will be able to do okay in this system. Now, I could have had Sibierski playing as an attacking midfielder role, but instead we've gone for the playmaker role, just so that we've got someone in there to distribute in and around that penalty area. And Wayne Bridge with an effort there, it's just over the bar. So we're creating chances, which is good to see. We're still looking good going forward, but that lack of point in terms of deep line playmaker role that we did have is telling a little bit here. Futcher looking to play it in, Nicky Weaver with an easy claim, and he plays it straight out to Jody Craddock, who looks down the line for Sean Wright-Phillips, who couldn't beat Skinner to it, but his clearance is only as far as Rory Delap. Now Sean Wright-Phillips has support ahead of him, looking for Sibierski, who couldn't get onto it, and that's played over the top, and Weaver got onto it and cleared it brilliantly in the end. It's a little bit of a mess here at the moment. It's quite disjointed. We're not at our passing best. I think, like I say, that holding midfielder, he was also a target with the passing out from the centre-backs, but it's come for Sean Wright-Phillips on this right-hand side. Oh, what an effort! And it's ended up going out off the goalkeeper, and it remains 1-0. To be quite honest, I'm not disappointed with how we're playing, but the fact that we've failed to score in this first half is a little bit of a concern. Paul Robinson with a delivery. Cal Court with a header. It's saved, but it's smashed home by Wayne Bridge. It's his first goal since returning to the club. and he's absolutely hammered that into the back of the net. It's 1-1, and I'm a little bit happier going into half time. Granted, we are playing a team in the bottom three, but we have been the better side, and I think if if we can do well in these couple of games, I think it'll bode well for us in doing this formation in the future. I think we've just got to continue playing how we are. To be honest, we've done okay, but like I say, we've just not quite been that clinical. But Cal Court's had a really good start to his City career. He's scored in 3 out of the 4 matches he's played in, from what I can remember. He's not looked like scoring so far today, but hopefully he will get an opportunity. As Jamie Pollock looks for Sibierski, Adi Akinbaye managed to get in onto him, and it's going to be cleared forward by Bristol City here, looking for Simic. It's headed away by Van Boyten, I think. Jody Craddock picks it up into Van Boyten. Now Paul Robinson into Wayne Bridge. That's a brilliant looking pass from Wayne Bridge, but he didn't put enough onto it, and Cal Court didn't really try and chase it down. Flies with the delivery from the goal there. Akinbaye's ended up in possession for Bristol City. He looks over the top. Craddock heads away. It's only as far as Janssen. It was a poor header that from Jody Craddock. Rory Delap's got to be careful. He is on a yellow card, but that is a great pass from Wright Phillips. Now, Antoine Sibierski picking it up in that hole between the strikers and the midfield, and he's gone for glory, and it's deflected off the crossbar. It was a brilliant effort from Sibierski on his debut as well, of course, and it goes over. Van Boyten now, looking out wide. Here's Paul Robinson coming down this left-hand side. He plays it over the top. This is Wayne Bridge now. Wayne Bridge down this left-hand side, looks to go for glory and flies, makes another good save. He's certainly keeping Bristol City in this at the moment. I'm quite happy with the balance at the moment. We're looking quite good moving forward for sure. Sean Wright Phillips with the delivery. Antoine Sibierski's in the penalty area. It's cleared away. Van Boyten back out wide to Sean Wright Phillips, who is onside. He finds Jody Craddock, who plays it back in. It's cleared away again. Only as far as Danny Murphy. Can Danny Murphy have a go? Yes, he can. And what a strike it is. It's into the bottom corner. It's his 13th goal of the season. Brilliant, brilliant strike from Danny Murphy. He drove it straight into that bottom corner. It's 2-1. And we're looking a lot more positive at the start of the second half. In terms of player fitness as well, of course, because we've signed these extra players and we've not really offloaded many players either, we've got much more in terms of options, and it certainly seems to be helping as Bristol City having an opportunity from a set piece there. Sean Wright Phillips is free on that right hand side if Weaver can find him, but he's decided to slow things down a little bit. But he has delivered forward. Cal Court wins the header into Sibierski. Wayne Bridge, brilliant pass. It's Cal Court, and he's put it over and wide. He hit it on the volley, and he couldn't quite control it, and it remains 2-1. Again, really happy with the way that we're playing. We're clearly dominating the game, but a 1-goal advantage isn't enough, really. Jamie Pollock we're going to bring off and bring on Damien Francis. Damien Francis has grown into the side a little bit as well. He's looked quite good so far this season when he's come on. We're going to take Cal Court off as well. We've got a number of yellow cards at the back, but I don't really fancy taking them all off. Jody Craddock's going to come off, and Mark Smith's going to come on. And I'm going to bring Danny Mills on at right back as well, I think, for Rory Delap. So hopefully we can see this last 10 minutes out and not have any issues. It's been a good performance. I'm quite happy with the way that we're playing, but it's not over yet. And Paul Robinson manages to claim it down this left-hand side. That's a brilliant ball over the top, and it's Wayne Bridge. He's got support in the penalty area. He decided to try and dink the keeper, and it didn't work at all. It was a very comfortable save in the end for him. So as we head towards the 90-minute mark, there's going to be a few minutes of added time, I would have said, just because of the substitution. 4 minutes added on, and we have a throw in their danger area as Sibierski looks to get onto it and can't. Damien Francis does get onto it, finds Goldson. And Daniel Van Boyten, the centre-back, on somehow on the edge of the penalty area. Brilliant strike again into that bottom corner, and it's 3-1. We've secured the victory here. Daniel Van Boyten, what a strike from him. It's his first goal since signing at the start of January as well. Really positive performance in this new formation. Really happy with that. 3-1 victory. Can't argue with that at all. And to be quite honest, the substitutions weren't too bad either. Sean Goldson came on, got his assist. We remain in 7th place, but we're breathing down the necks of Sheffield United and Barnsley now for that playoff spot. I mean, Norwich and Watford and Co aren't that far ahead either. We've got to keep this run of form going. So hopefully we will be in a position to do so. There's only a couple of days between matches, which again is a little bit of an issue. But hopefully we can put a side out there that's strong enough that we can get another good result away at Huddersfield. Normally I would come away from this, but considering it's only a couple of days in game, we'll just go straight through and straight onto it. And as you can see, what I'll show you is our recent form. So since the rough run of form that we had, where we beat Fulham but we lost to Manchester United, since then we've had one defeat in the FA Cup, which was unfortunate to Bolton Wanderers, but we have been unbeaten in the league since. We won 2-0 against Sheffield United and 0-0 draw with Watford. They've been close run things, some of the games. I mean, a 1-0 win against Port Vale, Crewe and Stockport, it has been quite tight, but we've done really, really well, and we've kept a number of clean sheets as well, which has been a bonus also. I think coming from that, I think the 4-2-3-1 might be a good way to go. I think Sobieski played quite well without overly shining. It's quite an odd position, really. Sometimes it really works out for a player like that, but other times it just doesn't. And it's a role that in Football Manager it is quite difficult to get it right, unfortunately. And despite the quality of the players you may have, it can always be a struggle to sort it out. But as we head towards the Huddersfield game away, we know what we have to do. We've got to keep on winning, keep our results on the go to keep the pressure on. Considering that we've been mid-table for so long, this run of form that we've had recently, it's really pushed us near those playoffs. And I think it's really important that we are able to continue in this vein. My target at the start of the season was the playoffs. If we can do better than that, it would be phenomenal. If not, then obviously not. But the playoffs were the target, and I think if we can keep up this kind of form, we could potentially better that. But I'm not going to count my chickens just yet. We've got to really knuckle down and keep on doing what we're doing. And the change of formation was always a risk as well, but I think with the players that we've signed, we've got a slight better quality of player for these positions that we've created as well as put into the side from the start. So hopefully we will be in a position that we can continue to do what we've been doing. Our under 21s and our under 18s have not been doing too badly, but we haven't got a lot of players in those squads. David Pizarro is eligible to play in the under 21 side at the moment, but obviously, like I say, without a work permit, he can't play for the senior side, which is a shame. But he will be into the senior squad as soon as he qualifies for that work permit. And Peter Crouch, we did debate putting him into the under 21s just to make sure that he had game time, but I think putting him into the second division, which is the division we just came out of course, where he can play regularly at Rochdale, I think it will serve his development a lot better than it would be staying in our under 21s. Despite the fact that we've got good facilities, I mean, he's played 3 appearances already, he's scored 1 goal, his average rating's not great, but he is trying and he's managed to get a goal for them, which is good to see. So where we are, this is one of our games. I think this might be our game in hand actually. So it's a very important game for us. We're away against Huddersfield Town. Slight change around with the squad as well. So Weaver's in goal. Edgehill, who's started to come back into the side as well, is left back with Smith and Van Boyten and Rory Delap at right back. We've got Michael Brown, who is no longer transfer listed. He no longer wants to leave the club, which is great. In there with Damien Francis. Danny Murphy's moved further forward. He will play in behind Kyle Court. And Wright Phillips and Heaney will be out wide. So looking at the setup, I'm hoping that with the strength that we've got in the squad, we should hopefully be able to pull off another good result. But we've got to be on point. We can't rest on our laurels, and we've got to make sure that we continue to play the way we have been in recent games. But of course, at times we have struggled, and form has been a little bit hit and miss sometimes. But with this run of form that we're in, hopefully we can continue. And straight away, we do have an early highlight here. It's Karika for Huddersfield. Back into Clark. Chettle now. They're moving the ball a little bit slower than we're used to, but it's been played straight over the top, and Nicky Weaver does get onto it. Very well done to him. He's just a normal goalkeeping role. He's not a sweeper keeper, but he does pick his moments well like that. And he certainly ended up being a very important player for us. I did have view to replace him at one point, but He's certainly grown into this squad, and I'm really happy to have him still at the club. Michael Brown into Edgehill now on this left-hand side. This is Smith now into Brown, who knocks it over the top looking for Danny Murphy, and it's a 14th goal of the season for Danny Murphy. It was a brilliant finish, hitting it first time on the way down, and we have a 1-goal lead here away at Huddersfield. And as it stands, of course, because this is one of our games in hand, I think, we're now level in terms of games with Sheffield United. So yeah, we're now into that playoff place. It's very, very important that we're in the right area, especially as when we get to the latter end of the season. There's still 15 games to go, though. There's a lot that can happen between now and then, and we have to focus each and every game to make sure that we don't do anything too silly. Here's Karika now for Huddersfield. Plays it back to Masters. Masters on this left-hand side. Plays it back to Moore, who looks over the top here. Nichols is in. Nicky Weaver just about managed to get to it. It was very, very well done by Nicky Weaver, really. I thought he was going to potentially be caught out there, but he did well. And he plays it out to Van Boyten. Now Michael Brown. Loads of space there for Michael Brown. And now Neil Heaney plays it over the top, and Cal Court's in space. Cal Court to make it 2. It's cleared away. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I think he might have miscontrolled it slightly. But that was a good opportunity, and it should have been 2-0. It's been a steady start to the game. We've not been overly creative, and in terms of possession, Huddersfield are holding their own as well, which is something that we've not been used to seeing this season. We've tended to do quite well in terms of possession in matches so far. But in terms of the actual match stats, as you can see, we are the better side at the moment, but we have got to keep on point. As I've said before, 1-goal leads do not mean anything. And Cotty with a brilliant effort, lovely curling effort from him. It's just wide of the post, and that should act as a warning for our team. And as we approach half-time, it remains 1-0. Again, we're looking quite good, I think. We have conceded a couple of chances, but nothing too major, and I think it's important that we just make sure that we don't get complacent. It's very easy when you're in a good run of form. Complacency can soon become a factor, so you've got to make sure that all the players are on top of their game. And Cal Court there with a brilliant header. It's his 6th goal since signing for us. He's been really good this season. Brilliant delivery from Damien Francis as well. It's 2-0 right at the start of the second half. And it looks like we're heading for another very important 3 points, which puts us in the frame for potential promotion chasing here. Danny Murphy wins the header. Chettle looks to clear, but it's only as far as Rory Delap. Not a lot of support for him there. Here's Sean Wright-Phillips. Loses out to Jamie Clapham. Sean Wright-Phillips looking to chase down Masters as well, but Masters is over the top. Van Boyten wins the header, as does Danny Murphy, and we are back in possession. Nicely calmed down by Van Boyten into Michael Brown. Back into Van Boyten. He certainly seems to be the leader at the back since coming in. Rory Delap with a brilliant ball down that right-hand side. Wright-Phillips stopped his run though and couldn't find him. Here's Mark Smith looking over the top. Sean Wright-Phillips again. Well, this time he didn't make the run at all, and it was very easy for Tracy to make the claim. Play forward, Van Boyten again dominating in the air there. Finds Michael Brown. Damien Francis over the top looking for Cal Court. And the keeper came, didn't get anywhere near it. Cal Court managed to get onto it. It's, that's the shame. It's not 3-0. Cal Court with the goal disallowed for offside. It must have been borderline. That's unfortunate, really, because I thought we did really well initially to create that opportunity. As Cal Court wins a header, finds Neil Heaney. Cotty looks to clear away. This is Dalton now. Good switch of play from Dalton, but it didn't find his teammate, and Rory Delap has managed to get onto it. Sean Wright-Phillips. He's been a bit quiet today, Sean Wright-Phillips, to be fair, but he plays a pass into Rory Delap, who plays it forward, looking almost there for Danny Murphy. Armstrong managed to get in with the challenge. And Rory Delap's been caught out here. Daniel Van Boyten coming out to try and help him, but Stewart is still holding onto the ball. And Jamie Clapham with the delivery to the far post. Edgehill manages to clear. Heaney gets onto it, and Michael Brown. There's a couple of City players getting in each other's way there. Michael Brown does get it clear. Cal Court couldn't quite win the header enough. And the chance continues for Huddersfield. It's Dalton down this right-hand side. Back into Cahill. He's played a great ball in, and Stewart's managed to knock it in. It's his 10th goal of the season. And I think that, yes, it has. That's been disallowed as well for offside. It was a very well worked move from Huddersfield, really. And again, looking at fitness, we are struggling. Van Boyten's dominated today, but he's going to have to come off. I don't want to risk him with an injury, to be honest. Darren Percy's going to come on. We're going to take Sean Wright-Phillips off and bring Matt Haywood on. Matt Haywood's not had much game time, but when he's come on, he has played well. We're going to bring Sibierski on for Danny Murphy as well. And I think for now, we might just leave it at that. We actually, despite all the right backs we've got at the club, we haven't got a right back on the bench, which seems a bit like an oversight somehow, because Rory Delap is struggling there as well. Here's Heaney. It's a poor throw from him, and Davis manages to clear. It's only as far as Mark Smith. Now Michael Brown. Damien Francis looks over the top, couldn't find Heaney. This is Cahill. He's under pressure, and it's fallen for Cowcourt, and that is a lovely finish from Cowcourt. Poor at the back from Huddersfield there, but it's a brilliant finish, and Cowcourt secures us the 3 points, in my opinion, there. I think what we're going to do, actually, we're going to put Darren Pearce out to right back, and we're going to bring Jody Craddock on at centre back. And Cowcourt, of course, he is on a hat trick. We're not going to take him off. He is fully fit, practically, so yeah, we're going to leave it at that. Edgehill does well, but his clearance is poor, and it's Jones here, and it's a good save from Nicky Weaver. Again, it looks like he is certainly gunning to keep this clean sheet here. Jody Craddock is on for Rory Delap. It's a bit of a risk doing it for a set piece, but it seems to be okay. And it remains 3-0. And we've started to pick up in terms of possession a little bit during the game as well. I think with the way that we play, we may have tied them out. Oh, didn't need that either. Cowcourt is injured, so John Macken is going to come on for him. John Macken's not had a lot of game time really, but it's a big blow to be losing Cowcourt to injury. Hopefully it's not going to be too serious. Sibierski is capable of playing there, and we do have options in that attacking midfield role. And when Mancini is fully fit, he can come back into the side potentially as well. So we have got options there at least. But as the game pitches out to an end, it's going to be a 3-0 victory for us. And I'm very pleased with that, to be honest. We've changed formation and we've got 2 wins. And clearly the balance of the squad is looking very, very good now. And we've finally made it into that top 6 for the playoffs. And to be fair, between the 4 teams in the playoffs, there's only 2 points. We're a little bit behind in terms of goal difference, which could come against us at some point. But if we keep winning, there's no reason why, to be quite honest, I think we could target second at the moment with this current form. And Cowcourt has pulled his calf muscle, so he's going to be out for 3 weeks. So he's going to miss a few games, which is unfortunate. Excuse me. And let's have a look and see what we've got in terms of fixtures. So we've got a tough run of fixtures coming up here. But I think what we're going to do, we're going to have a double header at home against Barnsley and Charlton at the start of March, maybe. Yeah, I think we're going to come back from Barnsley and Charlton at the start of March, get the other 4 games done, and hopefully we can, like I say, we can continue doing what we're doing with this run of form. And I think once we've done that, we'll get through a few more games, and it could be a case of we'll come back for 2 big games at the end of the season, which is Everton and Sheffield United, because that could determine where we actually finish in the league as well. So I think, yeah, I think what we'll do, yeah, Barnsley and Charlton at home, and then we'll come back at the end of the season for Everton and Sheffield United to finish off. And I think that will be that for this season. Well, thank you very much, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully, again, we can continue with our good run of form. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I am just starting out, so any support is appreciated. And this is Big Will signing away.